What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 37 of the Weekend Review. My name is Sean, and on this week's show, it's going to be all about the best movies and games of the previous quarter, comparing those to the previous champions, figuring out where they all rank. We'll also take a look forward to the next quarter as a whole, new movies, new games, all that good stuff. We'll also look forward to this week's new releases. Start this week's episode with what's new. It's a big week on the game side, not so much on the Blu-ray or movie side. In fact, there is nothing on Blu-ray and nothing in theaters of note this week. I know Venom comes out in theaters. That movie looks absolutely awful, and I'm not going to go see it, so I didn't really want to put it down because I don't care about it at all. If you do, that's like totally cool. Obviously, dig what you dig, you like what you like, whatever. The trailers are awful. The movie just looks terrible. Over on the Xbox Game Pass side, my three picks for you are Wolfenstein: The New Order, Split Second, and Metro 2033 Redux. I have the Metro Redux whatever collection on the shelf behind me. They're games that look interesting to me, and for whatever reason I just haven't gotten into them. Wolfenstein: The New Order is the first of the new Wolfenstein, which consists of the Old Blood being the second, but is actually a prequel to the New Order, and then the New Colossus, Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus, being the sequel. I will forewarn you, I guess. The New Order gets off to a rough start. That first hour isn't great, but if you can push through that, there's some good stuff after getting through that chunk. Sticking with Xbox for the moment, good games with gold this month, especially starting on October 1st, which is the day I'm recording, so yesterday, when this post. Overcooked hits 4 games with gold on the Xbox One. That game's fantastic. You should absolutely try it. If you are a person who has to have their gamer score end in a 5 or a 0, be aware that there is a 1 gamer score achievement right at the start, and the only way to get the other 9 or 4, it's a 9, 199 gamer score, is to 3-star every single level. So just be aware of that. Play with a different profile if you care that much. Admittedly, I do, so I've avoided that achievement like the plague. Stuntman Ignition is free from the 1st to the 15th on Xbox 360. That's a pretty good game. The Stuntman games should make a comeback. And then October 16th, Victor Vran. I don't know, that's on Xbox One. And then Hitman Blood Money hits the 360 on October 16th. So 3 really great games and 1 that I don't know anything about. On the PlayStation Plus side, Friday the 13th and Laser League are both available for the PlayStation 4. And thanks to cross-buy between either the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation Vita, it looks like The Bridge, Rocket Birds 2, and 2064 read-only memories are available on the PlayStation 4 as well. So 5 games on PlayStation Plus for PS4 if you are playing on that particular platform. Friday the 13th is a really good one. I don't really know much about the other ones. The other games, 2064 read-only memories looked interesting to me, but I never got around to it. This is a good opportunity to. But Friday the 13th, that's a good grab. You can actually play Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, which are games that are very similar, but different enough. One of them's 5 players, one of them's 8 players. And you play them both through PlayStation Plus. If you picked up Dead by Daylight in June or July, one of those 2 months. And that's just all the stuff if you have subscriptions. Now for the real games, they're all real games, but the brand new releases, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is out on Friday. Super Mario Party is also out on Friday, and the standard edition of Forza Horizon 4 is out this week, and that is included with Xbox Game Pass. So there's your 4th pick of your Xbox Game Pass games. You can find the whole list of Xbox Game Pass stuff because there were a few extras over on, I think it's xboxwire.com. So check that out. That's a bunch of new stuff this week. A lot of games. Nothing movie-wise, but a lot of games. Now on to the meat of the show, the best of the quarter. So we'll start with the movie side, and we'll work our way over to the game side and kind of go back and forth. The best of the movies, I surprisingly only saw 5 movies this quarter, and I was a little shocked at that number myself, but it was Mission Impossible, the 3 movies that are the best of the quarter, and The Incredibles 2. So if you watch the show, you probably are fairly well aware of what the best movies of the quarter are. They are A Simple Favor, 8th Grade, and Black Klansman. I really liked all 3 of those movies. Mission Impossible 6, whatever it's called, something. What the hell? Mission Impossible Fallout. Mission Impossible Fallout is this quarter's Ocean's 8, where it just barely missed out on that third spot. But since I saw so many movies and we had a couple that didn't quite make the top 5 last time, I actually now feel like I have a pretty good top 10 list that I can expand. Basically, in quarter 1, I did like a top 3. In quarter 2, I talked about the 3 best movies and then expanded that list to 5 with an additional 3 movies and a couple movies that just didn't quite make the cut. We now have enough for a top 10 list. For those of you who don't remember or didn't watch, last quarter it was number 1, Love, Simon, number 2, A Quiet Place, number 3, Thoroughbreds, number 4, A Fantastic Woman, and number 5, Upgrade. Those are obviously going to change, and Upgrade is going to take the biggest hit and slide 3 spots. I picked A Simple Favor as my favorite movie or the best movie I saw this quarter. One, because I think it's the most consistent of those 3. I think 8th Grade and BlacKkKlansman both get off 2 slow starts that end up paying off at the end, which is kind of like a weird way to be like, well, it starts kind of slow, but it works at the end. But I think that both of them start just a little bit too slow. And I think A Simple Favor is like the biggest surprise I've seen this year. And I am still shocked at how much I love that movie. With 3 new contenders and a couple of outsiders looking in to throw into the mix, we'll push the list out to 10 now. And the top 10 looks like this behind this book. Oops, got caught on the cord. Number 1, still Love, Simon. Number 2 is still A Quiet Place. Number 3 is still Thoroughbreds. Number 4 is the new entry, A Simple Favor. Number 5 is A Fantastic Woman. Number 6 is 8th Grade. Number 7 is BlacKkKlansman. Number 8 is Upgrade. Number 9 is Deadpool 2. And sliding into that 10th spot is Ocean's 8, a movie that I really, really enjoyed. And then number 11, which I wrote off to the side because it's just on the outside looking in, Mission Impossible 6. So that's where things stand after 3 quarters of movies. I almost said 3 quarters of play, which doesn't make any sense. Well, I mean, they play in the theater. You can stretch it and make it work, but I'm not going to. That's where things stand after 3 quarters. There's a bunch of new stuff coming out. We'll get to that in a little bit. Switching over to the game side, for as few movies as I saw, I played even fewer new games. And I was looking through my notes, and I played games, but they were all old games or remasters of games that I've already played. So number 1 is Spider-Man, and honestly, like, I've put 5 hours into the game, and so I feel like that's enough to know that I'm enjoying it so far. My worry at this point is that it's going to become my, like, this year's Horizon Zero Dawn, which I didn't do this show last year. Obviously, it debuted this year, but Horizon Zero Dawn was a game that I got very excited for. It's a Sony exclusive. I put about 5 hours into it, kept telling myself that I was going to go back to it over and over and over again. Never did. Spider-Man's been a little bit like that. It came out right when football season started, and that was part of why I didn't get back into it. I've also been doing this show and some other content stuff, so that's thrown me off a little bit. I really need to just bite down and play more of the game. I really enjoy it. I'm looking at the collector's edition box, just staring at it. Spider-Man looks so disappointed in me that I've only put 5 hours into the game, but it's been a good 5 hours. I've enjoyed it so far. I think that's worth noting, like, hey, I really do like this game, just haven't gotten back to it. For those of you who are curious, I'm going to count Forza Horizon 4 as a quarter 4 game. The release date for the general release is October 2nd, so we'll go with that. With all of that being said, the top 3 games I've still really, really enjoyed this year, no matter how little or much time I put into them, have been State of Decay 2, and this is in no particular order, Sea of Thieves, and Spider-Man. So, weirdly enough, 3 games that start with the letter S, but hey, that's fine. Not a big deal. I've enjoyed each of those games for different reasons. I think they're really fun and interesting. They're all console exclusives. Oddly enough, 2 of them for Xbox, 1 of them for PlayStation, and that's kind of where things stand on the game side. It's weird how many games I have not played this year. How many new games I just haven't played. I've talked about a bunch of them, but I haven't gotten to them. I have a ton of catching up to do. Before we look ahead, I'm going to make sure that I remember, because I keep forgetting to do this, I'm going to make sure to point out that the best limited edition item I had this year, or this quarter, was Purple Reptar. Oddly enough, the most unbalanced item I've ever had either. I have to prop it up with the helmet to make sure that he doesn't fall down every time I record this show. So shout out to, thank you again to my cousin for hooking me up with that. Best limited edition of the quarter right there. Pretty sweet. Looking forward to the fourth quarter. I've revised this yet again. This is the third time I've revised it. The first time I did it back in back in April, I picked way too many things that I didn't necessarily get to or really have that much interest in. It was just like, it looks cool, I'll throw it on there. Last quarter, I picked 3 from each month, and that was still a little bit too much. It was a little too spread out. I don't know, I just didn't hit as much as I wanted to do. So what I'm going to do this time, and hopefully this is the last time I have to really, hone it in, narrow it down. I'm just going to give you 5 games and 5 movies that I'm really looking forward to and going to make an effort to have opinions on for this fourth quarter. We'll start again, we'll flip back, start on the movie side, and we'll start with the movie that I am most excited to see for the rest of this year, and that's Mid-90s. It's a movie that's written and directed by Jonah Hill, and his career is super interesting to me. He started doing comedy stuff. He was in Accepted and Superbad and Knocked Up and all those hard R raunchy comedies. But he also has 2 Academy Award nominations, and now he's written and directed a movie. So there's this weird dual aspect to him that I'm super curious about. They also keep playing the trailer for Mid-90s, and it's shot in a 4:3, which is fascinating to me. But that trailer gets me every time, and I'm so excited to see that. That comes out on October 19th, and I hope that we get it here in Spokane. We tend to get some of the bigger, small stuff, but sometimes it can take a couple of weeks, I guess. We still haven't gotten Mandy, which sucks because I'd really like to see that, but hopefully Mid-90s gets here. Also out on October 19th is Can You Ever Forgive Me, which is a drama starring Melissa McCarthy, and that's what I'm most interested in. We've seen Melissa McCarthy in a lot of comedies, some of them very, very good. Bridesmaids, Spy, Ghostbusters. Some of them not so great. Tammy, that other one, Identity Thief, that one was very good. They're just forgettable. I listed the other 3 off totally fine because they're freaking great movies. The others, not so much. And I'm super curious to see what she can do with a dramatic role. I'm just very interested in that. The basic story of that is that she's a writer who has writer's block and starts forging notes from dead famous authors. So that would be enough to get me interested anyway. And you're taking an actor that is typically known for comedy, kind of like the Jonah Hill sort of thing, and you're putting them in a different type of role. So that's definitely has my interest. The third movie on the list is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm excited about this movie because it looks absolutely gorgeous. Visually looks terrific. It looks like a comic book come to life. It also gives Miles Morales, another one of the Spider-Men, an opportunity to be front and center. I'm very excited about it. It looks like it has awesome cinematography. It's an animated movie. It has a beautiful color palette. It just looks amazing, and I'm really excited to see what they do with that material. The movie looks visually awesome, and I'm excited to see Miles Morales be able to be front and center. And that one is, that movie looks great. They played the trailer for that, and I just want to sit right in front of the screen and let the frames flash over my eyes. It's so great. He goes off the car and it says pow, and it's oh man, it's awesome. Into the Spider-Verse hits theaters on December 14th. Welcome to Marwen is the 4th movie on our list, and it stars Steve Carell as a man who, after a vicious attack, meticulously creates a World War II city in order to help himself recover from this terrible event. And the trailers look really, really interesting. It has elements of live action and some kind of stop motion animation stuff. It looks very emotional, and I don't know, it has a good cast. It has Janelle Monáe and Leslie Mann in it as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that comes out on December 21st or November 21st. I don't know. The 2 sites I was looking at one had it in December, one had it in November. They'll probably try to position that movie for an Oscar. Steve Carell also has another movie coming out called Beautiful Boy, I think it's in the middle of October, and that looked interesting as well. I didn't really want to put 2 Steve Carell movies on there, but shout out to Beautiful Boy. This one looked a little more interesting to me, so I put that on the list. Final movie on this list is Widows, which follows a group of women who attempt a heist after their criminal husbands are killed in a botched job. And I didn't really know a whole lot about this movie, and then they showed a trailer for it at, I want to say it was at A Simple Favor, and I was like, oh, yeah, that looks awesome, and Viola Davis is in it, so there you go, win-win. Those are the 5 movies that I'm looking forward to over the next quarter. Switching over to the game side of what's new, number 1 is Red Dead Redemption. That comes out on October 26th. They actually released the second part of their gameplay trailer. It looked really, really cool. I'm surprisingly not that excited about it. I was, after the first gameplay trailer, which showed off all the different stuff you can do. You can rob trains, you can rob banks, you can ride horses, there's all kinds of wildlife in it. I was like, oh man, I'm super excited for this. And then I cooled down on it quite a bit. And then this trailer came out and I was like, yeah, I'm excited. But it wasn't I'm not at a frenzy for it, which is kind of weird. But I also kind of know what to expect from from Rockstar Games is a big open world. I'm sure I'll get lost in it. I'm sure I'll enjoy my time with it. I'm not super thrilled that it's a prequel to Red Dead Redemption 1. Kind of wish it was past that point. Maybe a couple years, a year or two down the line, but a different set of characters. I don't really need to know John Marston's backstory. I think Red Dead Redemption is one of the best games I've ever played. I love it so very, very much. And I don't know, I figured I'd be more excited for the sequel, but I'm not. I'm, kind of on it, which is totally fine. I mean, for as tepidly excited as I am looking forward to playing it, and I have full trust and faith that Rockstar will, put out a game that I will enjoy. The second game on this list is completely different from Red Dead Redemption 2. It's Nickelodeon Kart Racers, which is, it came out of left field. All of a sudden they announced, they're hey, we're making a kart racing game full of Nickelodeon characters. You can play as Reptar and Tommy and a couple other characters I can't remember, and they're going to announce more. It looks like a fun, goofy time. It's also a budget price, $40 game, so that has my interest as well. I'm curious to see what they can do that makes the game as Mario Kart as possible, but maybe they can try and give it a unique spin on their own. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. It's going to be a dumb, goofy time, and I'm so excited about it. I'm arguably more excited for that than I am for Red Dead Redemption 2. But I think it's just because it's unknown. I don't know what Nickelodeon Kart Racers is going to be. But I have a much better idea of Red Dead Redemption 2. I can't wait. I'm so excited. The third game on this list is a newer game that has been brought to my attention through Game Informer magazine that I was reading, and it's called The Occupation, and it's a first-person stealth detective sort of game. You play as a journalist, and you have to uncover the truth about what's really going on, and that sounds fucking awesome to me. As a person who really, really enjoys LA Noire, I like the idea of trying to put together a mystery and trying to put the pieces together. I'm really dumb, but I'm going to try and have fun with it. So I'm looking forward to that. Because it's a lot different than what I normally play, I think that's what has my interest so locked into it. And that comes out pretty soon. That's on October 9th. Fourth game on this list is Lego DC Supervillains. I'm very excited about that. I know what I'm getting out of a Lego game. It's going to be goofy fun with a silly story, and there will be puzzles you have to solve, and you break stuff apart and get studs and all that fun stuff. Whatever. This is also the fourth Lego game that's been out this year. Who cares? I'm still looking forward to it. Looks like a goofy good time. And you get to create your own supervillain. So obviously I've been working on the backstory of mine. What is my supervillain going to be? I don't know. You're just going to have to tune in to find out. So there you go. What a tease. That sounded a little aggressive. Let's try that again. What is the backstory of my supervillain? Tune in a few weeks to find out, because that game comes out on October 16th. What an ad read. Dear at Lego. And then I'll clip this part out. Not this part, but the part before. Doesn't matter. Lego's my fourth game that I'm looking forward to this quarter. Last but certainly not least is our fifth and final game, and it's Just Cause 4, which I'm not a super huge fan of the Just Cause franchise. I think it does some interesting stuff, but I don't think they've ever really nailed the gameplay aspect of it. 3 was good, but suffered from a lot of technical problems, and it has a really awesome grappling hook. 4 has crazy weather stuff, which sounds super awesome, and if they can correct the technical issues from Just Cause 3, I think you could have a special zany good time on your hands. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. So that's what I'm looking to this quarter. 5 games, 5 movies. Look for impressions of those on future episodes of Week in Review. As far as what I missed this quarter, not a ton. I missed two big movies. I missed Sorry to Bother You. That's what it's called. I missed Sorry to Bother You, and I missed The Equalizer 2. Those were the 2 that really stuck out to me. I skipped Christopher Robin. Never going back, never made it to theaters. I just never was really in the mood to go see Operation Finale. I thought about it and I just didn't go. Night School and Smallfoot just came out last weekend. I just didn't get to them. So not a ton of misses on the movie side and even fewer on the game side. The misses on the game side I actually thought were going to be more because I didn't play a ton. But it kind of makes sense why I skipped a lot of these games. The Walking Dead is dead. It's not ever coming out, so I'm not even going to bother with it. I wasn't going to play Life is Strange 2 Episode 1 until it all came out. We Happy Few was a mess. Strange Brigade looked fun but redundant. Madden is Madden. Spyro got delayed. Shadow of the Tomb Raider was a stretch to even put on the list because I knew I was 2 games behind. So, I mean, the biggest miss of all of these was Overcooked 2, and that's about the only game I can think that I absolutely, I missed. I played Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I enjoyed it. Octopath Traveler I thought about, but just that's a big ask of me personally as a person who I can barely put 5 hours into a Spider-Man game. I can't imagine that I'm going to put a ton of time into a JRPG. I actually played the demo of Octopath Traveler when I was on a trip and fell asleep. So there you go. There's your review of Octopath Traveler. I'm just kidding. I only played 45 minutes of it and I was very tired. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Week in Review. As always, leave comments down below. But this time, instead of telling me what you're excited for, let me know what your lists look like. What are your best movies, best games of the quarter? What do your top lists look like? Let me know. While you're there, hit that subscribe button. Check back on Thursday for football. And, be sure to check back every Tuesday for Week in Review for more. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. We're 3/4 of the way through the year. What do your best of the year lists look like? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're there, hit that subscribe button. Check back Thursdays for football and check back every Tuesday for more game and movie coverage. See you next week. I don't know, I'm flashing this like I'm a detective. We know you did it. Speaking of detectives, I bought L.A. Noire again. I own 5 copies of that game. All on different platforms. It's the Napoleon Dynamite of video games.